Hey Raiders, what's up? This is Nazarac.
This EOD Jenks.
What do you know? So this is going to be me trying to run through on my account my first attempt at doing the Conquest here.
And I'm
And
just here
EO,
for colored commentary.
plenty of color coming from that side. So here we go. Let's launch this, and EOD, you be my Yoda here. So
All
you
right,
need to
it's going to force you until. So I know you said you didn't do this one yet, Naz.
Mm-mm.
So
Nope.
what it's going to force you to do is it's going to force you to start normal. It's
Okay.
not going to let you jump ahead. So after you read that,
And then hit enter.
yep,
Okay.
and then he's going to give more of a breakdown.
And then from this screen, I'm going to assume I just hit commit. We're going to go right
Yep,
into normal.
commit to normal, and then it'll.
Hit OK.
Yep, and then sector 1 opens up.
All right. So
So
I'll
from what I
in.
recall, there's 5 sectors on mine, and it
Okay.
looks like you and I have one, two, three of the same bosses. You can scroll down on the left screen there. Okay, you and I have all 5 of them are all the same,
So completely identical.
at least for the boss fight. Now the
Okay.
fights on the inside aren't necessarily the same, and if you so on the top, if you click on just like the Treya right there, like you did
Hmm.
with your Rando, it'll show you what levels you're looking at when you get into it.
Okay. So I'm going to jump into sector 1 here. Hit enter. So we need to battle our way across the map to reach the boss. Remember
Yep.
reading about that.
Yep. And along with that, fog of war. So, I mean, you can only see so far as who your opponents are going to be.
Okay.
Um, and
So
then
I'm
now this is up to you if you want to go southern, if you want to go top, and it all dictates where you end up and what feats you have additionally with the multipliers.
okay. So can I select either one, seeing which
Oh yeah,
one's which?
you can see, each one of them has something unique for each one, and then um, after that, you got to understand it's an up or down on either one. So like if you take this top one that you've got selected, we can't do
Gotcha.
that bottom. You can't do that bottom battle.
Okay. So once you commit to a node, you're set, and that's your path,
Yep,
win or lose.
yep,
So taking a look at this northern one, it gives me a data disk stockpile of insatiable, heal over time, and power. So do I just get all three of those if I go to that node?
you only get one,
And you select which
and
one?
yeah, you can pick which one. And on power, if you scroll down for power, it's got 2 dots or 3. That's
Looks
how
like
many
two.
pieces. Okay, I can't quite see it because of the I'm using my small phone today, folks. But in your breakdown, where your inventory of your mods, your data
Data
disks,
disks.
you've got up to 12 slots. So that those 2 dots are going to take 2 of those 12 spots.
Gotcha. So you got to go and say, is it worth the two dots because it's taking up two of your 12?
Right. And it doesn't just apply to like this battle, it applies to all your battles moving forward with each individual set of characters.
Gotcha. So they accumulate as you go.
Yes.
So something else I'm noticing up here is we got a new type of energy, this purple lightning bolt. Does that dictate how far you
Yeah,
can go?
it does. I ran it uh, earlier today, and I got to within 3 sectors, three battles of the
Hmm.
boss fight, and I ran out.
So
Now
what
it
happens?
generates, it generates just like Cantina. Every 5 minutes, you get one. So most of them are 15 for a run. So you're looking at 15 by 5, and that'll tell you how long between missions you can go.
Okay. So I see these 3 data disk stockpiles in the north. Let's take a look at what we got in the south. So we got health recovery, amplified glory, and potency calibration. So 2 of them are 2 dots and 1 is 1.
Yep. And those weren't the dots that I got. So,
Okay. So
which
this
which
one,
creates it and makes it more unique. It's a very dynamic and flow system, much like they said. For right now, I honestly don't have much to say ill of what's going on because there is a lot to do.
so so how does this work? So if I go into a node and I win, but
You move
I
forward.
get bloodied in there, meaning I get the stuffings kicked
You're
out of me.
you're still using your whole roster. That's
Okay.
the glory of it. So I lost. I won a battle, but I lost one. Trying to catch my. Trying to figure out where my. There it is. It's all right, guys. You don't want to see my ugly mug today anyway. Let's see if we can do this. There we go. So, what I found was that um, while I was doing it, I lost Sith Marauder out of my Darth Revan team.
Okay.
So I looked at my lineup afterwards, and normally, like, say, if we're running an AAT or one of the other raids, and I lose a character, that character is normally marooned out to signify that it's dead. But in this one, it was available again. And just like all the rest of the characters, it was missing percentile from its, you know, adrenaline or uh, stem that they're saying that you need to run.
Okay.
So its stamina was knocked down.
So if my character goes in, let's say I have Revan, he loses half his life. Is he full life on the
He
next
comes back
set of?
full life
Okay.
in the next time you use him, but he's also 90% of his stats.
So each time you use him, they have diminishing returns type of thing.
Exactly. You got
Okay.
to know that that team is going to take you to the top, and it doesn't have to take you all the way to Treya in Sector 1, if you will. It at
Okay.
least has to get you to the next fight, and you can adjust who you're using. So, like when I ran mine, I ran into 3 times I ran into a KOTOR team, and 3 different times I ran into Geos. So I had to choose: do I want to take and hit Geos, or do I want to hit KOTOR? Or if I had the option, do I want to hit a Newt Gunray Separatist team and then avoid those?
Gotcha. Interesting. So with that, you kind of start out by thinking of which team or squad you want to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go and run my arena team, which is my Jedi Knight Luke with Gas and Jedi Knight Revan.
That's a great. That's obviously that's a meta team, but that's one of those ones that. All right, do I really need to pull out the heavy hitter for round one,
Right. Okay.
or am I going to want that for later? Like I didn't get out my 501st team, which was my arena shard, until I hit Treya.
But thinking in the end game, hoping that I get to the boss, which I should on Sector 1, I want
Yeah,
to stock.
everybody, go ahead.
I'm going to want to stockpile my or stockpile to build towards my last team. So if I'm thinking that I'm going to go and make the final push with my Jedi Knight Luke team, I might want to use a stockpile here and try to see if I can squirm my way into tiers. I'm going to call it tiers 3 and 4, but wherever this you see this line ending for
Okay,
this
and,
sector.
and that's great. So what you're looking at is you've got the node there. You've got to pick a data disk. So it's going to make you pick from either the top, the north, or the south, and then from there, do we want to go to the middle? Because the middle will be open, doesn't matter which way we go, or do we want to go to the exact top or the exact bottom? And then if we go to the exact bottom, then we're looking at just staying on the bottom until we get to another section where we can branch out wider again.
So right now, how do I tell what's
You can click on them up until that line.
up
You
until
can
this
click on
dividing line?
up until that line. That's what's considered the fog of war. So
Gotcha.
you can see up to that line. You just can't see past it. You can see that there's nodes, but you can't see what teams they are.
Gotcha. So there's really only two sets of um, enemies that I'm going through here. I've got this first tier, which I've got to decide which data disk I want. Then I move to this next set of tiers, which is the first group of enemies, top, middle, or bottom. And then from
Right.
there, I can see what's beyond those. And
Yep.
then the fog of war hits at that line. So I can't see
Right.
what the third tier. Okay.
Correct. And as soon as you move forward one set, then that line moves. That fog of war line moves.
Okay. So I'm seeing a pretty tasty Phoenix squad here. So I'm thinking I'm going to want to at least go middle or top.
I think your middle was, yeah.
So middle
Imps.
is, yeah. And then the top here,
Looks like some seppies.
I'm kind of thinking I want to go middle and then top.
Well, then
Because,
that luckily, I mean, that opens up which data disk you're going to pull.
and so with that, I could go and take my General Grievous squad through here. He should make short work of
Now, don't
either of
forget
those two
these,
teams.
and awesome choice. I mean, definitely awesome choice. But above the enemies, so when you're looking at their enemy stats,
Mm-hmm.
if you hit the line left or right, the arrows left or right that are flashing,
Gotcha.
they still have multipliers as well.
So if I take the middle one, if there's an Empire ally in the leader's slot, they get a plus 30 health and max protection. Whenever an enemy ally is in the leader's slot uses special ability during their turn, all Empire allies increase their damage dealt by 10% until the end of turn, and then all other Empire allies. So that's going to be some burst damage there. And over prepared, these units have been preparing for battle, so increases their max health, protection, offense, and speed. So they get a pretty
They get a nasty
beefy.
bump on speed.
So looking at that, the only one that I'm really kind of nervous on with that one is the Death Trooper. If I went
Mm-hmm. But
with
I don't
General
see a
Grievous,
Krennic in there.
I don't see a Krennic in there. No, you got Piat and you got Death Trooper. The rest,
It
I
looks like
mean, you've
a
got
range of snow and a shore.
Snow can be nasty with those bonuses as well, I suppose, but I'm
That
not
lock
too
on.
terrified. Yeah,
But if you're going in with your Grievous, you're going to have, you're going to be able to mark and um, not mark, but was it target lock?
right. So up here we've got Seps, but what do they have for, so malicious minions? Summon Separate allies have plus 25 speed, max health, and max protection, and the damage that they deal is also increased by 25%. All other
Mm-hmm.
separatists gain half of those bonuses. Okay, and over prepared, we saw that before.
Right.
Except instead of 40, it's 20. So increase max health, protection, offense, and speed by 20. So I think that's still the route I want to go. I'm not sure if I want to go middle. I might be overthinking this.
We all do that. We are all victims of overthinking.
So I think it comes down to which set I want to take. So let's take a look at the top one, because if the bottom one's the one I want with the data disk pile, the southern node, then that just kind of sets me for the middle one anyway. Because I
Yep.
think the bottom one was that. Why was it that? Oh, the clone troopers and stuff. They looked a little more nasty than the Phoenix Squad. So
Everybody
that's why I
says
want.
that.
I
And
just
keep them.
I don't like Rex. I don't like General Kenobi with something like this. Again,
No,
this is
I
probably
agree.
easier setup because they're They're not relic or anything, but
Right, but they're also going to get those feats. They're going to get those bump ons and things like that to bump them up.
yeah. So let's take a look at what the Phoenix squad's bringing to the table with their modifiers. So the odds, whenever a rebel ally scores a critical hit during their turn, they have a 100% chance to attack again. Nice. This chance is reduced by 25% for bonus attacks beyond the first one. Rebel allies gain 25% health steal and cannot be countered. Okay, that's ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And prepared. So okay, so when we've seen over prepared before, they had different stat lines, and I'm seeing here it says over prepared 3. And let me guess that since that one does 40, if I go to this one, over prepared here was 20,
One
but
is
it was
20.
only by 1. Okay, so
Yep.
they have tiers to them. So if you see 1, it's 20. 2, I bet it's 30. 3 is 40. I'm not liking that Phoenix squad so much anymore because of the odds. With that
Changes,
100%,
doesn't it?
I could
But if you
see.
stick middle to start, all right, you run through that imp squad, and then we could, you could take your pick.
So let's take a look at the southern node here one more time. So that's the clone squad with Kenobi and then also Barris. So Steadfast Retribution at 1. Whenever a Galactic Republic ally takes damage from an enemy, they reflect 100% of that damage back to the enemy. The damage of this ability is increased by 10% for each time this ally has been dealt damage this way.
That's some pretty stout stuff.
So what do you want? Do you want to punch yourself or do you want them to come out and hammer you a lot of times? I'm thinking I'm going to go back to the first one because sure they may hit, but I'm hoping they don't hit as hard as I'm going to hit them because I'm going to hit myself pretty hard going down that way.
Yeah, go in with a relic team on the Phoenix is a whole lot better than trying to go in with.
Right. Especially if I get the drop, which I
And I
should.
mean, outside of the 40 speed, I mean, it'll still be close.
Right.
And there's no Zeb to help tank onto Chopper.
Yeah, so far I'm liking this a lot, this thinking, but maybe I'm overthinking, but just the how I want to set up my buffs and how I want to go through here is already an interesting conversation to start with.
Oh yeah.
So, with that being
Then what's even
said,
more interesting is that those buffs
mhm,
carry into phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4 if you don't remove them and add different ones.
right. Okay. So, I guess we better get to the meat and
Let's get
potato
to the
section
action.
here. Yeah.
I think we've stalled long enough.
So, insatiable is one of my options on the top, means my allied units are going to get 8.5% health steal and 8.5% defense penetration.
Okay.
Heal over time. Allied units gain.
I used the heal over time because it's not. I think I used the heal over time until I was getting the debt, and then I saw one that was dots.
Gotcha. And then the power one. That one's
That was
pretty sexy.
yeah.
27% offense and crit damage. Okay. So I'm looking at probably heal over time or power if I go top. Let's take a look at the bottom. Health recovery. That's 2 dot though. Whenever an ally gains a buff, they recover 7% health. That's pretty nice. It's not going to help my General Grievous squad right off the bat, I don't think.
No, it's not. And that's again that gets into this thinking aspect. Like, okay, where are we going to go? Like, are we going to hit these things hard, or are we going to hit them? Because Grievous, you're not getting a lot of buffs out of a Grievous team.
No, and I'm trying to use
Whereas
that
if you're
just
using exactly, you're trying to use it just to punch.
right.
Whereas if you're using a Jedi team, you're spreading foresight around all over the place. If you're using
Yeah,
Yoda or Ray for that matter.
yeah. And Jedi's will drop that on all of them.
Drop that. Yep.
Amplified Agony, that's looking pretty good here. Whenever an ally inflicts a debuff on an enemy, they also deal 6 and 2/3 damage, or health, max health damage to that enemy. That would help my General Grievous squad right off the bat because they're going to throw that around when General Grievous does his spread. And that's
Right.
also going to help my squad, my Jedi Knight Luke squad, because they throw. I mean, he just does a stun to everybody, so that adds that too.
We've got a gnarly windstorm going on over here. That's my door that's rattling in the background.
Well, if you see Auntie M fly by, just let me know.
I'm waiting for the scarecrow and the lion.
And then so the last one's potency calibration. Whenever an enemy resists a debuff, all allies get 22% potency. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing too much right now that I'm worried about them having high tenacity. So out of that, I'm thinking either Amplified Agony or the Heal Over Time. The Heal Over Time's a nice starting one. That power one's pretty nice too. What do you think?
I go with the power or the heal over time as well. I mean, and right now it's really it's not necessarily what I think because this is a move that can't be returned.
Right.
Like once you pull the trigger on this, you're sitting with this for 2 weeks.
Right. I think I'm going to go with power because that's doing more damage is always nice.
I mean, the logic is sound.
All right, so I'm going to do that. We'll hit commit. It's more flavor text. I'm going to skip by that. Just a matter
Well,
of
that's
time.
telling you that you've got to click on that and then add it. So click on your power disk
And then confirm.
and then hit confirm. Yeah.
So you can take these out later on.
Yeah, you can adjust when you get new ones, but you have to get to where you're getting the new ones.
Gotcha.
In order to ebb and flow the way that it sits.
And so is this just for this sector, or does this carry on from sector
No, they
to
carry
sector
over because I'm in sector 2 and I've got the same ones.
Okay. Well, I like that one. I think that's going to help all the way through. So hit confirm to that. I have no consumables. I didn't pick up any, so
nope. Let's arrow back and it'll take you back to that screen, and then let's get a battle out of the way.
All right. So we got Seps.
So did you see that your line for Fog of War moved?
Okay. So now that we've gotten that far, we've got Seps. We've got Empire Squad. If I remember, they had that over prepared
to
Imperial Edict. If there's leader in the spot, they can do 30% more health and max protect. Let's go back to the top one. I think that one, that's only the summon separatist ally, so that's just the carry on that they bring with. So I'm not too worried about that. Yeah. So that means I'll have to come across here into the Phoenix Squad, which we were planning on anyway. And so then that brings us to the Fog of War of what do we got here afterwards? We got First Order. And we've got First Order. Nice. Only difference between the two is Huck's lead with First Officer Fanis, excuse me, I'm losing my mind here. Then we also have Unmasked.
We all are act accordingly.
And then we got Foe. So First Order Executioner. The other one, we don't have the Executioner, which is nicer. We still have Unmasked. We have the Stormtrooper, First Order Stormtrooper. And then we have the First Order TIE Fighter. Between the two of those, I think I would go with... I suppose it also adds... when we get that far, we'll get that far. But we're going to go first to the top. because the first two spots are decided. So battle takes up 15 of my new purple energy. I'm going to hit clear squad, select my squad, and let's get down to robots. Here we go. So 127,000 GP, let's do it.
Moment of truth. Here we go.
All right, so we'll spread the
Let it
love
walk.
by, yeah, so we got starting off with B1, and we'll have him do his spread, and it doesn't matter since we haven't taken any damage, but I always put it on Magna Guard, just for safety. Plenty of damage there. Now we got Droidica, and I'm going to drop some damage, and I have no choice because of the taunt, so let's drop that on there. Almost takes him out. General Grievous is up. I'm going to spread. That takes out almost everybody.
Yep.
Let's get rid of
Watt out
Nuke
of
Gunray.
there. Get Watt out of there.
Okay.
He can revive one at a time.
I'm going to throw the stun on him just in case. He's out. And let's just do just the last basic attacks until he's out. Well, actually, B1, so let's do some healing. The one that needs the most is always Magna Guard, so...
I always find it to be Grievous.
I usually put it on Magna Guard because he takes more damage on my squad faster.
Right.
So I keep him bumping.
Like when I run Forest Moon Assault Battle.
So here I grab myself some Conquest credits, 10. Let's pocket them. Let's move on. So there's not much to say here. We just move on to the next fight.
And you made yourself have to take the Phoenix squad.
Right. So this is the one where they're gonna go and hit a lot.
So I'm gonna stop here real quick.
Okay.
And point something out for you since this is your first time through. You see the white bar underneath your character? That's their stamina.
Okay.
Now that you'll get two pieces of that back, 2% of that back every hour.
Okay,
unless
so it's
you
a longevity
buy
game.
a stem. Yeah. It's. I mean, you can run, Grievous until he's, not hitting, but like a wet noodle. He might be 7 stars in Relic 7, but if you run him down to he's got 20% potency, he's 2 stars and he's year 3.
Gotcha. But he goes into this battle full life, this next one. Just
Yes,
he's
he has
90% of his stats.
Exactly.
Gotcha. So it's not a double whammy where whatever damage you took in the last fight, plus now it's 90%. It's just you come back in fully charged, but it's 90% of what fully charged would be.
Exactly.
Gotcha. And that's another reason why they give you 2 weeks is because of the fact that you get 2% every hour. So I go maybe 2, possibly 3, depending on how we want to look at that first order fight coming up right after this, and decide, well, do I want to just wait overnight and heal? But again, we're in Sector 1. We don't have a huge amount of time if you're going to go all the way through, was it 5 or 6 sectors?
5.
Gotcha.
5, and it culminates with Jedi Luke, or Grandmaster Luke, is the very last boss.
Gotcha. So if I wanted to, I could go in here and throw in my Jedi Knight Luke squad, full life, hammer them, and then
hold out.
Gotcha.
Exactly, and then let them rebuild for later down.
I think I'm going to roll the dice here and just try it with the squad here again.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right.
Let's have fun. Live life on the dangerous side.
All right, so we get the drop on the Phoenix squad. Great. So I'm going to spread with B1, and I'm going to put that on Magna Guard here. And so let's see what type of damage that drops on there. A little bit. Wish it was a little bit more, of course. So now we got B2 up, and I'm going to have him do his spread and hopefully, and when I mean spread, I mean mow down, and see if I can get some buff immunity on there.
Yeah, you're
So
going to want the buff immunity. Open it, as Arnold would say, open that third eye.
open up the third eye. Okay, and now we've got Droidica up, and let's drop some serious damage. I would like to get rid of Ezra
Personal
here.
opinion. Personal opinion. I always go after Hera.
Go after Hera, because then they can't keep the rebirth coming up.
Yep, there's no more backup plan.
Okay. That's out of the way. Okay, so Grievous, I think I'm going to spread because there's so much life on everybody still that I don't think going with my Skittering Horror is going to be enough yet. So let's spread that. And now we've got Magna Guard.
Nope.
So should we throw that stun on Ezra, or should I throw the stun on Zeb?
Kanan or Zeb. I mean, you're going to want to stop your tank from tanking.
Okay. Let's see if we can get a stun on him, and the gods allow it. Okay, so we're back to B1. Let's spread, and the one that has the most damage right now is Magna Guard, so I'm going to throw that on him. And that came out beautifully. It took out 2 of them. So,
yep.
Kanan's sitting there. Let's take out this ugly droid with the Skittering Horror from General Grievous.
No, and what's interesting with Grievous and those droids is, I mean, he's pulling health from that one too because it's a droid on the field.
So right now I could do basic attack, but just to stay safe, I'm going to go and use the shield from Droidica because that's a ability, and that gives more speed to B1. So B1's back up, spread, so it heals Magna Gargan, and that should drop him. Boom, victory for 2.
Woo!
Another 10 for the good guys. Let's see, continue. All right.
Got one of them first order teams.
Yeah, and I'm not going to run with my General Grievous squad here. I'm going to let them heal overnight. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow if we get time. So let's take a look at this one. Executioner is the one that's going to drop a lot of damage. Unmasked.
Yeah, but is he fast enough to get out?
Right. What does he got for modifiers? Blind Fury. So whenever First Order ally gains advantage, they lose 20% critical chance and gain 35% critical damage, stacking until the end of battle. If a First Order unit does not score at least 1 critical hit during their turn, they gain advantage for 2 turns, and at the end of the turn, if they do not already have it. Okay. And overprepared, we've seen that before, that's at 20%. So let's take a look at the other one, see if they have... Looks like they have the exact same thing. So choose your poison. Do you rather have foe, First Order Executioner, or...
So now here's your other question that you have to consider. Do you want just the top data disk collection, or do you want to be able to hit the bottom one?
Gotcha. Can we see that right now?
Yeah, Fog of War is lifted.
All right. So that one gives us quickening, which speed is 6.5% and 4.5% evasion bonus. Power, so we could just really crank up the power with that one. Because we can add 2 powers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. And then turn meter. Whenever an ally gains a buff, they also gain 2.5 turn meter. It's nice, but I'm not sure that's really blowing my hair back. Speed one I like.
Power or speed, I mean...
I like that quickening. But I could definitely use some more power. So the bottom one, that's a better power yet than the power above. Because that's 27% and 22 versus the other one having 20 and 17. Ruthless
Sounds like
offense.
you've made up your mind.
I'm looking at it. Ruthless offense. When an enemy falls below 100% health, all allies get 13 offense. I think I'd still go with just take the offense to start out with critical damage. And then decay, turn meter. Whenever an ally deals damage to an enemy, that enemy loses 6.5% turn meter. I think I'm going to go with power here and go with the southern node here, just because that would be a pretty nice combo. Oh, and excuse me, I keep calling the First Order Executioner foe, and that's really First Order.
Fox.
Yeah, it's Fox. So forgive me, that's what I meant was fox, not foe.
I wasn't going to stop you. You were on a.
So I'm thinking of going south, and then what do we have here for squads after that? So that clone squad comes back to face us, and then another Phoenix squad. Phoenix squad really looks nice. Let's take a look at what mods they got. Steadfast Retribution. So we've seen that before. Galactic Republic ally takes damage from an enemy. They reflect 100% of that damage. So hit yourself, hit yourself.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
No, I don't
So
either.
this one is the odds and over prepared. So the odds are whenever Rebel ally scores a critical hit during their turn, they have a 100% chance. So we saw that before. We saw that with the Phoenix squad, and it didn't come to mean anything. So not scared of that. And over prepared is at the 40%. So I'm looking like we're gonna go south and south. I'm gonna go and grab
Perfect.
my.
Get your power.
So we're gonna clear this
Take out
squad,
that first order team.
and let's bring out Luke just for fun because I'm not gonna probably go too far tonight, and I'll probably roll some more tomorrow. So they're gonna get some. They're gonna get some love over the evening. So
Get
let's try that.
some rest and rehabilitation.
Yeah. And plus, I just like to get Jedi Luke out there. Spend a lot of time to get that guy.
And time, money, and energy, right?
Yeah. So let's roll with this. So Luke comes out there. First thing I want to do is I'm going to pass. So Jedi Knight Revan's got the ball. I'm going to use his ability as Master Strategist, and I'm going to hand that over to Jedi Knight Luke so he can get Jedi's Will. I think the first one I'm going to want to get out of here is probably First Order Stormtrooper. Just because he's going to be the tank. So let's pitch that over to Luke. A lot of damage is coming to Jedi Knight Revan, but not enough to really get worried. So Luke's got the ball. I'm going to go and use Heroes Arise. And unfortunately, it's going to go against Kylo Ren, but I believe that's going to take him out. So let's go and do that. Took him out. Now everybody's got Jedi's Will, so perfect. Gas is up. What do you think? Should I go after the Stormtrooper, or should I push Hux and get him out of there? Or
take care
just
of
take
Hux to get rid of the undying loyalty, but I'd use the
Force Grip?
that one. Yeah, the Force Grip.
Definitely. So that took care of it all in one shot. Easy peasy. Another 10 for the good guys. Since we already made our decision on this, let's just get that out of the way, grab some more power. Commit. Let's add that. Confirm. We're going to hit like a truck on this next one.
You're going to hit like a Mack truck. It's not going to be no Peterbilt.
So we already decided on this one here.
You were going back after Phoenix, yep.
Yep. So let's roll on Phoenix and move along. And cue it up.
Bum, bum, bum. I kind of feel sorry for him with what you're taking in there right now.
I hope so. All right, so start out again, Jedi Knight Revan. We're going to do Master Strategist and pass the ball over to Jedi Knight Luke. Even that did a lot of damage. Okay, so let's get rid of Hera, right? Jedi Knight, she's gone. Now that's back to Luke again. So I'm going to throw Stun by using Repulse, and that should stun everybody. Every Phoenix squad is stunned.
Yep, perfect. Now hit Force Grip and should clear the field.
Okay, I'll have gas and I'll use Force Grip, and that's going on Kanan. So let's see how it see what it does. Cleared.
Yeah, figured it would.
And And so here we are.
More choices, more data discs.
More data discs. So stacking offense. Whenever an ally gains a buff, they also gain 5% offense. That would continue with the offensive theme we're running with. So that wouldn't be too bad. Ruthless offense. Whenever an enemy falls below 100 health, all allies get 13. So either buff or if they get below health. And then decay turn meter. Whenever an ally deals damage to an enemy, that enemy loses turn meter. So with the speed that my squad's running right now, I'm kind of looking at the turn meter because we already have plenty of offense. But can you ever have too much offense?
No.
So with
You've
that
been
being
able to
said,
stay out in front of them and not take much damage. So
I think we're throwing around enough buffs that stacking offense would be pretty nice. What would you call?
I'd go with the stacking offense. I mean,
Okay.
keep whacking and whacking and whacking. I mean, if it ain't broke.
Pound away, sailor.
Mm-hmm.
Confirm. I think with the way things have been going, I might just roll one more time with Luke. But let's see what we got here. So, we've got an Imperial Trooper squad led by Gideon.
You got to watch out for the demoralize and the.
So, and they have Imperial Edict. If there's an enemy ally in the leader spot, or Empire ally in the leader spot, which there is, they'll gain 30% max health, max protection. And whenever an enemy, Empire ally in the leader slot uses a special ability during their turn, all Empire allies increase their damage they dealt by 10% until the end of the encounter. And then all other Empire allies are called to assist. That's the way that it's rolled the first two rounds. I wouldn't be too scared, but now we're at 80% if I use Luke.
Yep.
So is that going to slow him down enough where we wouldn't get the drop?
It's not necessarily it's going to slow him down. It's also he's going to hit a little bit softer.
But we do have plenty of offense to hit with. So let's take a look at the southern node. And that one is...
Rating.
I think that's the one I want to go with. Because that has Jedi Trains Rey. Then we have...
Hodo, Finn.
Finn.
Looks like...
3PO.
Yep, that was the only one I couldn't figure out. And BB-8.
BB-8.
I'd go with that. And I mean, you could still. I would take your Luke team against that. But
so what goes beyond that? So we got a CLS squad right behind it.
I did not have that in mind.
What's the top one? Top one's bugs. And a true bug team.
Like I said, I had a lot of bugs, and I had a lot of KOTOR with Nest.
The bug squad I'm not too worried about because of the fact that their modifier is malicious minions, which means the summon minion is going to be stronger, and it's only a tier 1, so that's not something to be scared about. And it has a tier 1 over prepared, so that's 20%. And that seems to not have been a big factor either. The southern one, the one that is CLS, only has one modifier, and that's the odds. But the odds are whenever a rebel ally scores a critical hit, they have a 100% chance to turn to attack again.
Just like what we saw in the Phoenix.
Right. I still think going the southern route's the way to go. CLS is...
Be darned. I mean, there's always a counter for that.
Right.
And if it let's say it takes you down tonight, I mean, that might be a good pausing point for right now.
Yeah. But I don't think it's got enough synergy in that squad to make me really too worried about it. So let's take the southern squad here. Press on. And let's take and roll the dice with Luke one more time. So let's see if we get the drop again. We do. So Jedi Knight Revan, Master Strategist, so he's going to hand the ball back to Luke. Luke's got the ball. I'm going to use Heroes Arise, and since Holdo has taunt, I don't have any other real option, so I'm just going to drop that on her. She's out.
You might be surprised. I'm pretty sure if it gets, like, if you toss the stun,
I'm going to throw
you'll
stun
probably
right.
be able to, yeah, the stun from Luke should be able to stun the whole group, and then it should
Right.
be Annie's turn, and you should be able to force grip and smoke them.
Okay. So I'm going to throw stun because Luke's back up again. And let's see what that does. It's stunned 3PO, it's stunned Finn, didn't stun BB-8, didn't stun Jedi Training Rey. She attacked Gas, and he countered and took her out. So nice
Gas
play on
does
that
what he
part.
does best.
Yes.
Gas does what he does best. And if Finn, from the look of it, is in yellow with no protection, so I imagine you throw that force grip again out there with the Gas.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So Gas will throw a force grip at Finn. 3PO stuns, and BB-8's still pretty healthy.
Well, sounds like we got to take the little guy out.
And that worked out great.
I blinked. I don't know what just happened.
So force grip threw that out, and that took out 3PO, and that also took out Finn. And then with his second move on his the kick took out BB-8. So that was it.
Gotcha.
I'll tell you what. Why don't we take this moment, wrap it up? Oh, so we got a current reward. What's this? Oh, that's telling us the box that we have, the prize box.
You haven't gotten to the box yet. You got to get to 66 before you get the box. 65, actually.
Okay, well, there's a
you get some stuff, but that's not the full box.
Okay, so if I take this doesn't stop me from. This is just what I got right now.
Yep.
Okay.
They took the an aspect from DSA, like when you do the milestones for the events.
Gotcha.
And they added that in so that it was an immediate, all right, now we've got something, because it's such a long event.
Gotcha.
And now we don't have to wait, and then all of a sudden, boom, everybody gets something, and then that would crash the system because they wouldn't be able to keep up with everybody spending what they got.
Well, I'll claim my 50 more credits, and this other credits I have for ship and for regular credits here at this point. I'll pocket that. And I get the big blue exclamation or check mark, meaning that's good.
Got it.
And I'm thinking this is probably a good place to just wrap up for tonight. What do you think?
Sounds like a plan to me, boss. It's been
all right.
a joy to watch that squad. I mean, I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to the day that I unlock Wampa enough to relic him.
Yeah.
Now that after this territory battle we got going on here with the Raiders, I'll have Malik at 7. Not necessarily relic 7, but
Malik's a game changer. Malik's a game changer. Once I got him, the stars aligned, there was rainbows, and it didn't even rain, so it was nice.
Well, I'm looking forward because he's at 90 out of 100 right now, and I've got enough to make him 95 already. I'm waiting patiently for that last 1,400 get one that I need to put him at 3, or at the full amount, and then I'll finish him off, and then work towards Hermit Yoda, and then Wampa to get that big boy. But now that the Razor Crest is coming in, I don't know. I've been thinking about going after Bam again.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, right? You try to keep focus on something, no matter how many bright and shinies come raining down, and you're like, boy, it'd be nice if I had this, and boy, I wish I could have that. Because I mean,
I
I'm
just
trying to keep myself focused on not going after Piat and Gideon because I would really love to get that extra gear to go and start relicking everything else, and I think that would speed
I,
things up.
I
But
got to tell you, I have got my Piet is at 11.5 right now, and he's at 7 stars. Like I am actually, that's my current farm is the additional gear that he needs to put
hmm
him at 12. And then I have that'll give me Veers, Piet, and Steric all at all those imps at 12. And then I'm gonna do Gideon, who's at 11, and we're in the hundreds for the star run. So we're going on that last star. And then from there, like he's got like two more pieces and he'll be at 12. So I've got to come up with a tank, and I haven't decided if it's going to be the shore trooper or my range trooper or what.
yeah, there's so many tunes that I haven't finished farming. I mean, you go and farm them, you spend all the time to get them, and then for whatever reason, you just don't end up gearing them because something else shiny comes along. Like Shore Trooper, I should have taken the time and just ran him up, and I think he's at
Yeah.
like gear 11. He's not high enough up. I should take the advantage because of all the time I spent on him, but for whatever reason, I just got there and then said, okay, now let's go on to this grind.
What I ended
That's the
up
name of the
doing
game.
is, yeah, and what I ended up doing is once I got to the point that it was like, all right, I can try to chase a meta. I went after gas, but mind you, I went after gas right after I got with y'all, and you were like, "What are you doing about this Malik?" So then I chased and got Malik, and then went and got gas, and then just put everything into gas in the 501st.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do understand, and
So
now it's all about ships for me, and
yeah,
I'm
you've got
liking
a
how
fleet
fast
going.
those imp. I'm liking how fast those imps get.
Right now, I'm like this until I get, Jedi Master Luke. Until then, I'm not even going to think about anything else. That's it. Except for maybe Beskar armor, Mandalorian, and maybe for some Imperial troopers like Piat if they're in range. But I'm trying to tell myself, no, just Luke. Focus on Luke. Go
And
with Luke.
what's nice about Piet was I took my resistance hero Finn, no Poe, resistance hero Poe all the way to 7 stars while I was farming the 7 stars for Piet.
Well, Chief, should we wrap this up?
Yeah, I'm definitely heading to bed.
Same. All right, Raiders. This has been Nazarac, and
This has been Jinx. Have a good one, boys. Stay safe out
yep.
there.
If you like it, hit the like button. We'll put the information for EOD's channel on there, or else we'll have the channel for just EOD and myself. But we'll get all the information. So once EOD is doing his streaming and his Twitter, he can definitely catch all that information. So till then, talk to you later.
Be safe out
Night.
there.